Hello, welcome back. This is Cireon from Clan Quest, and I'm here for the second part in my Dungeoneering video series, where I just explain the basics of Dungeoneering. In the last episode, we went through how to optimize room strategy a bit, so that we could go through the dungeon faster. So I want to do a bit of an upgrade this time, and actually look at the dungeon layout and how to use gatestones to get around dungeon quicker, so that we don't only do the rooms quicker, but also get to the right room as quick as possible and finish the dungeon a bit more quickly. So if you're very observant, you can actually see that I skipped the floor because I recorded this episode before, but that dungeon wasn't really a good example of what I wanted to show. And then I decided not to follow my own rule, missed the key, and well, that wasn't really successful. So I'm just gonna start over in this dungeon, and hopefully it will explain a bit more how to use gatestones and how they can be really helpful. And we will also be using the dungeon map a bit more. So we are now in a start room where we can go in 3 different directions. So 2 of them are locked by a key, and we don't have that key. But let's assume we could go in all the different directions. And if we look at the map here, we can see that the spawn room is shown pretty much all the way in the bottom. And this room down here, it might have a room there or there, but it's not gonna have like a huge section behind it. So if we had to choose in what direction to go first, you would choose the down direction, because we can just close off this branch really quickly. Probably doesn't have a lot of key doors we can't miss. We don't have yet, so we should really do that part first and then forget about it entirely. The other 2 can be quite big. So we're doing a medium dungeon, which will usually cover like a 5x5 grid or something, 6x5, 6x4. I don't know the exact numbers, but it will cover like a decent portion of the map. Large dungeons are even easier because they cover the entire map. So you really know that if the spawn room is in a corner, that the bulk of the dungeon will be in a corner. So by looking at the map, and also just by looking at the information you get presented here in this map, you can already see what the structure of the dungeon would be, and how you can try to use that to your advantage. So let's just go in this door, because we don't really have a choice here. So yeah, for now it's gonna be pretty linear. This is a normal door, which means we don't have to kill these monsters. We just pick up the key. And actually, I'm gonna go back this time, because this is the key to the door to the south section. That's really small. I normally wouldn't do this kind of thing, but we were still really close, and we have another key here. There's a guardian door, but no monsters. Alright, so this section is actually stretching on a bit further than I hoped. This is a purple pentagon door. Alright, so this is a purple pentagon door, and we can't open it yet. So just like last time, we're gonna use a gatestone to gate it. So in this case, we only like 2 rooms out from the spawn room. So you would be alright just leaving this door like this, and then if you have to go to this doors, teleport back to the spawn room and run here. But for the sake of argument, let's say this is maybe like a bit further away, and we don't have this floor yet. So what you get when you start a dungeon is a group gatestone. The group gatestone counts for the entire party. So if you're on your own, you can use it as a personal gatestone. If you do a group dungeon, the group gatestone gets a whole different function. which I can't really explain on my own. So we'll go into that later maybe. But for now, this is just a gate stone. So let's drop it. Now we have it on the ground here. And whenever I want to go back to this floor, I'm going to go to the teleport tab in my magic interface. So normally the magic interface can be found on the skill tab and then the magic abilities, and then press the home the teleport map tab. So here you can see there's the home teleport. That is the same as this one. There's the gatestone creation, which takes a few cosmic runes and then creates a personal gatestone. There's also a red variant, which you can get when you are 90 magic and also have the elite dungeoneering tasks finished. So let's also quickly do that. So there's these two gatestones, and then there's the group gatestone. So that's 3 of them, a green one, a red one, and a blue one. So if you drop your gatestone, you can use the corresponding teleport spell to teleport there. So there's the group gatestone teleport, which takes 64 magic. But the portal in the spawn room can also be used to teleport to the group gatestone. There's a normal gatestone teleport, and there's the red gatestone teleport. So if I now use this teleport, and you see I actually have it on my action bar, because especially in group dungeons you're going to use the gatestone teleport a whole lot. I can just activate that, and it will teleport me to this dungeon. Now, if I use a normal gatestone, a personal gatestone, and I teleport to it, the gatestone disappears, so you can only use it once. So if I wanted to gate this location again, I should drop a new gatestone, and I can pick it up without it breaking. Alright, so that's the basics of gatestone. So we often use the term gated a door, just because it's a bit quicker than saying I put a gatestone at that door. We just say we gated this door. Alright. So let's run back, because there's not much else we can do, and let's try this divine door here. My bets are that this is a dead end. Yeah, but it has a key. So as you can see, the bottom section of the map took us not very long to finish. Only 3 rooms, which is more than I expected, but still not huge. And we got an extra key out of it. So if we now continue on this path, we might actually find that we need that orange triangle key. And because we already completed the small section, we can just keep going on this large part, which makes it a lot easier to get your dungeon done more quickly. So this is the same mining puzzle we had before. I'm gonna quickly go through it. There's only one door on the end. And as you can see, this is a skill door. And some puzzle rooms, like the mining one for example, but also the bridge ones, can actually still have a guardian door on the end, which requires you to kill all the monsters. Or might not have a guardian door, which means you can just do the puzzle and run through. But some puzzles are really difficult if you keep getting hit by monsters, so you might want to kill them anyway. So let's see, what do we have here? We have a gold pentagon and a silver diamond door. We don't have either of those. And there's a gold pentagon, so we can actually pick up this key. And then we have this door here, which we can't open yet, but we can gate it. So I'm putting a gatestone down. So now we have 2 gatestones, and it's getting more and more difficult to remember which gatestone is lying where. So this gatestone is lying in front of a silver diamond door. And if I find the silver diamond door, I can open this and teleport to this. But I have to remember which door is linked to which key, or which gate is linked to which key. And that might be a bit difficult, especially in the beginning. So don't be ashamed if you have to pull out a piece of paper and just every time you put a gate down, write down what door it was. And sometimes you have more than one door. So if I hadn't found the gold pentagon key in this room, I would have put a gate down somewhere like there, or maybe in this room, and I would have 2 doors linked to that gate stone, and I would have to remember, like, if I find one of these keys, I can go back to the gate stone and do that part. So yeah, don't be afraid, just pull out a piece of paper, and while you're doing it, try to like find ways of remembering that work the best for you, because it's different for everybody. Alright, so let's look at this room here, which has 3 different doors. We can not open this one, but if you look at the map, that is actually the one I would go for, because it's very like tucked in here. And it's very likely it's just a single room. So if I just open it, it might be a dead end, it might have a key, but I could just tick it off. And I know I wouldn't have to come back for it. So it makes sense to do that one first. I can't though. So I'm actually going to go for one of the other doors. And in this case, I think I'm going to go for the top one, because this one might have a huge section behind it still. And this one... well, it can't go to the left already because there's another room, so it's less likely that it's like a long path. So let's go for that one first. There's another guardian door there, so let's kill this ranger. Let's kill that bat. So, once you're like heading off into a path, you might know that, alright, so this might go on for a few rooms, and then you're like, oh, I should have put a gate down back at the start so I could get back here easier. And I could do that in this case, but there's like another gate right next doors, so I could always use that one and run over here. So I'm not going to bother putting a gate here, because this is my last gate stone right now, and maybe I'll find a door somewhere deeper in this path that I can't open yet, and I have to put a gate stone down, and I ran out. So don't be afraid to use gate stones, but also don't use them too much. Like, if you have 2 adjacent rooms, it's probably not necessary to put more than 1 gate stone down. Because right now, like, here you can see there's actually 3 directions I can go in, so probably I chose poorly by going in this direction. This is like one of those stretched dungeons instead of more of a square one. So yeah, in this case, I maybe have to put a gate down here. So I chose this room first because it's unlikely again that this one goes to the direction. It's like the same situation as down here. And I was right, this is a dead end, so we can just ignore this room. Now, we can see some sort of imaginary border of the dungeon right here. So for this room, there's also only very few possibilities where we can go in. So it makes sense to do this one first. And like, these decisions with dungeon maps are it takes a bit of intuition to get to know how dungeons are built, how the structure of dungeons is. And all I can recommend regarding that is just do dungeons. Just try to get a feel for how dungeons look and in what direction they go and where to put gate stones and where not. And if you do that, then at some point you'll just get the hang of it and get a pretty good idea of how to optimize your dungeons. So in this room you have to like use these buttons to sync up all the colors. So I'm gonna sync up green apparently with yellow. So if I step on this button, this red dot will stop moving forward, and I have to like get it in the same spot as the other colors. And you do that. That was not what I wanted. You do that by clicking off the button at the moment that the lights are in the square just before your color. So I can do that one more time. So once the yellow light is there we go. That will unlock the door. It will stop. It will sync up the lights. So this is a dead end. Just make sure there are no keys there and that you miss them. It's not a dead end. Alright. So that the only door remaining is the one on the other side here. I'm hoping that's not a long path. So that's a guardian door. So what you can see here, I'm not really accurate. So I'm gonna switch here to magic. Because it's a strong monster, its weakness is magic, and this is gonna give me a lot quicker kill and save me a bit of time and health. So if you use like ranged combat, you should have magic as secondary. Because you are weak against melee enemies, and melee have magic as weakness. So you can fill in that tiny gap more easily. And likewise, for magic, you should bring melee as secondary, and for melee, you should bring ranged as secondary. Oh, this is not a dead end, but another guardian room. So yeah, you see I have two action bars set up, one for magic, one for ranged, so I can switch between the two very easily. And I'm using these shortcuts, Shift 4 and Shift 5, to switch between the two action bars using my keyboard. That's another guardian door there. So yeah, you can see that this is actually bending around a bit and going back into the part that was still open. So let me actually open the dungeon map once magic has stopped. There you go. So you see that this is actually going down again, filling up. And you can't always completely predict where the dungeon is going, but sometimes you have luck and sometimes you don't. So what is important to always, while you're doing the dungeon, try to get like this map roughly in your head. You don't have to open it after every room. If you just keep in mind a bit how the structure looks right now. So yeah, I picked up another key. So let's go south here. That's an orange shield key. So here we go. This actually shows that right now I have to use this final gatestone, because I might have to come back here and I don't have the orange shield key yet. So let me just quickly run out of this room. So I went all the way there and put the gatestone at that door. And that's something you can do. You can also put the gatestone down here and teleport away immediately. It doesn't save you a lot of time in the end. Yeah, it just depends a bit. So, let's not do a home teleport. Right now, we have to go back into this section. And we have a gatestone right here, and we have a gatestone right here. And here we have a couple of doors we still haven't visited yet. So I'm gonna teleport to this gatestone, which was my personal, green gatestone. I'm gonna use this one. I still can't open this key, so because my gatestone broke, I'm gonna put it down again. And this is where like the runes come into play. Like you can see, I already used 9 cosmic runes because I did a bit of like showing around. But keep an eye on your runes, and especially lore runes can go quite quickly in group dungeons, and you want to be wary of that. And you don't want to like end up without any runes at some point, because it slows you down. So make sure you get enough runes at the start of the dungeon. So this is a normal door and this is a guardian door, which means that for that door I could just walk in past this enemy, but for this one I can't. And this one seems a bit more tucked in, so I'm gonna do that one first. Alright, so let's That's a nice key. So that's the key for my green gate stone. I need to mine this. So this is one of the other rooms where this could have been a guardian door, and you might have to kill some enemies here, like this night spider. Right now it's a skill door, so I could just ignore that and fix that door. My guess is it's a dead end, but you never know. It's actually the boss. This one likes to disable your prayers. We don't really care. Just one of the easier bosses of the abandoned floors. Which we're doing right now. Alright, that's it. So now we finished the dungeon. So let's end on a few observations. So there's lots of rooms I haven't opened. And just like I said last time, I could go back, open all these doors, get a bit more XP out of them. But if you add everything up, in the time I have opened all these doors, I could be almost halfway another dungeon. And that's gonna give you a lot more experience. So as soon as you killed the boss, just end the dungeon, move on. Most of the parties that do large dungeons with 5 people like to open all the doors because the experience rates are a tiny bit different. Wow, different. But yeah, that depends a bit on the party. I'm not sure if it's worth it, but I just follow along with whatever people want to do. And the final observation is I didn't pick up any food this time, and I lost a bit. I used regeneration once, halfway through, but by actually not killing enemies when you don't have to, and by just having a good bind setup, having your ring of kinship upgraded, you can get quite a lot of you don't take that much damage, and you can basically just sprint through dungeons without having to worry about food too much. It really depends on how much of the skill doors you fill. Sometimes you have bad luck with a puzzle, take a lot of damage. That's why it's always good to have some reserves when it comes to food. So keep an eye on your health, pick up some food if necessary. And if you're really low on health, you can always use your feathers, fish some high level fish, cook them, and use those as food. So yeah, that rounds up the dungeon strategy, or more of the dungeon layout strategy video. So that's it for now. I'm gonna end this dungeon, and in the next video I'll probably talk a bit more about how the different floors work and how you should use your progress the best. And maybe we'll also look into something like Ring of Kinship upgrades. Depends a bit on what I feel like. So yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know if it was useful. And I'm looking forward to hearing back from you. Bye.